Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. Okay, so for today's video, we are checking out a band called Noxa. There you go, Noxa. I have no idea. We'll get to you in a minute, Andy. Kirk, heard of them?
No.
No, Andy. I don't think you've heard of them. Good name or a bad name?
Depends on how it's spelled.
Noxa.
That's what I've noted down. Better than it be starting with KN. But again, doesn't tell you a lot.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't mean anything in English, but that I know of. So, you've got that intrigue already.
Yeah, I know nothing about.
Mind.
This is a song by them. It's called Greed. Let's go check it out. Okay, there we go. Noxa and Greed, some Indonesian grindcore for you. Andy, over to you, mate.
I reckon, this is not stereotype and no disrespect to people from that country, but I thought, honestly, that perhaps it was members of, or even another song from Godless Simpsons, who we covered in another recent video. But yeah, there's obviously, even my limited knowledge and sort of use of words told me instantly that was grindcore and very napalm death. I was critical of the images flickering too quickly, but then there's an obvious reason for that, because the song was, I don't know, was it a minute?
If minute, that, 20 seconds, I like.
Yeah, a minute and a half, thereabouts. But yeah, what can you say about sort of a quick grindcore song? It was good. It was a decent song. The video was too dark, I thought. The images were moving too quickly, even for a short song. What was going on with the guys in the pig masks? That was unnecessary and a bit distracting. But yeah, a band I'd want to hear that track again, and I want to hear more of them. It's competent, like the vocals. Can't really take too much away from something that's so quick, to be honest. But
yeah,
certainly something I'd check out again.
Kirk?
As we've been doing for most of these videos, let's open up a discussion topic based on this song. And the question is, what is the difference between power violence and grindcore? And I've been thinking about this over the last week because I've reviewed a power violence album. Power violence is a subgenre of punk. Grindcore really is born out of punk, but incorporates thrash and death metal. That was definitely grindcore because of the high treble gain on the guitars, and you can hear the chord changes. If you listen to a power violence song, you can't hear any guitar chord changes. It's rough, it's messy, it's nasty. That is, but it also rocks out, which is unusual within grindcore. I do like how they've got different vocalists throughout the song. One of our favorite bands for this is Death Goes, isn't it? A local band here, assigned to Prosthetic Records. They do a good job of that. And certainly there is a power violence scene in the southeast of England. And you'd probably say Trade in Hands are the most famous band around here, aren't they? With Jordan Allard and Max Homerton from your favourite death metal band, Andy Skullfucked. 1 minute and 9 seconds, was it that song? Or 1 minute
Something,
and
I don't know, somewhere like that.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. I enjoyed it. You know that there's not going to be a chorus. It's just visceral hatred, isn't it? It's rage, magnified, amplified, exaggerated almost. There's an element of absurdity. That's what you expect with grindcore. Yeah, it's got more of a pig destroyer, agoraphobic nosebleed sound to it than Napalm Death. Could I listen to an album for that? Absolutely. Yeah. Does it make sense? That's almost easy listening because the songs are short, aren't they? You can't really get bored of music like that, in my opinion. You can, Dave, because you hate grindcore, but Andy, I think we'd be in a comfort zone with music like this, wouldn't we?
Yeah, because it's short, sharp. You know, if that was sort of extended across sort of 3 minutes, and then there was 10 of those types of songs, you might get a little bored. But the fact that there is variation, even in something as extreme as grindcore, and the fact that there is those breaks and those sharp exertions of power and aggression, you then get to take a breather between tracks. So yeah, I could listen to an album, and I do. I'm not a massive grindcore fan or power violence, but I can take it in because it is, usually EPs or short albums. You're not bored, you're not bludgeoned to death by it all, and then you can then move on to something else. If you was on a heavy rotation of grindcore, it'd be quite punishing. But you've got the option of doing a whole release, taking it in, and then moving on to something else.
Dave, what do we need to do to convert you to the grindcore cause? Is there anything we can do?
No. So for me, grindcore obviously
what
has
can you do to convert me to Favour No More? Nothing. Same answer.
Yeah.
The problem with me with grindcore is there's no. It only has one emotion, and that's rage and hatred and anger.
That's
and
three,
if that's
then.
your mind, if that's
one, that's three.
They're all the same thing. It's a different word for the same feeling. You go in there with the sheer feeling of letting out and venting frustration and anger, and the pits that you see at grindcore shows purely sum up that. You see that aggression, you see those swinging arms, windmilling, spin kicks, violence. I've seen pictures of people taking in like security barriers and charging at people in there. If someone ever did that with me, I'd knock them the fuck out if they tried that shit with me. I'm like, I want to watch a show. But the problem is, as we've said this before, people go there because it's consensual. Everyone in that pit is doing the same because that's how they want to release. Watching a band like this, I don't see anything from me. And I know there is technicality and I know there is musicianship in it, but to me, I don't see that. I just see venting frustration noise just coming out. And there's nothing there to connect me to it. There's nothing to make me want to listen to it and enjoy it. But I know that other people do, and they need that sort of connection and that release. I'd really like to know how many people are grindcore fans and doom fans, because is it like an upper and a downer? Is that like a drug?
Definitely.
Do you need that balance in your life?
It's post-metal and grindcore, Dave. I was going to say, you raise a good point there. You can have this slowed down, and when you listen to Neurosis and Isis and Inter Armour and bands like this, and we've got some great bands here, haven't we, as well? Everest Queen, Novia. So we've got a scene here in England. But yeah, post-metal is just as extreme, but it's just slowed down, isn't it? You still get that absolutely eviscerating rage that can rip the skin off your face. Just because they're playing doom riffs doesn't make it any less heavier.
I mean, looking at this one, I think I agree with Andy that there's just too much imagery trying to go on. They're trying too much to try and tell a story, which in that short period of time, you're just not going to get across. I think I'd rather have just had the whole band in shot in a room with a few panning shots, close-ups, and just had them performing. I think it would have got the point across just as clearly. Doing a 1 minute, whatever, 10, 20 seconds with pig masks on and closing cutscenes, they're trying to be too clever. And gave me a bit of a headache watching it, to be honest, because there's just too much going on to the senses. But yeah, I mean, my only reference point would have been Napalm Death, because that's the only thing I would have been able to kind of reference down there. It was interesting you said power violence, because I'd never heard that term before as far as a subgenre. I'd heard of grindcore, but never heard power violence. I love this bit. I was having a quick look. What are examples of power violence? This is the best exemplified by bands such as Man is the Bastard, Crossed Out, Neanderthal, No Comment, and Capitalist Casualties. But this is my favourite line here. Power violence groups took inspiration from Siege, Husker Du, SSD, Deep Wound, Neon Christ, Herax, Impact Unit, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, Negative FX, and Corrosion of Conformity.
Crossover.
Not recent Corrosion of Conformity, obviously.
Yeah, that band Siege is cited as like the proto Napalm Death, because I know that Shane loves Siege.
Yeah.
They are held in great esteem. You've got Repulsion on the metal side and then Siege on that hardcore side. And Napalm Death were listening to those types of records when they transitioned from being a crusty punk band into creating grindcore as we know it.
I think it's just what interesting for me is that we've talked about Corrosion of Conformity before, about how it's one of those bands that if you listen to their album catalogue, if you pick it at the wrong point, you're going to get a completely different band to where they are at a different other point, because they have got hardcore punk elements, early punk, then they've got stoner groove, then they've got almost a pop rock, hard rock album, then they've got so many different styles, and it's one of the few bands that I know that's done that and gone through those journeys. But it's interesting they're getting referred to as bands that have influenced power violence, and you're like, not if you listen to like Drowning in a Daydream, where he's sitting in the back of a car playing a country song. It's like, that's not influenced power violence, is it really? I just found that humorous.
Best example of that is Bring Me the Horizon, isn't it? People are shocked to discover that they are known as one of the first wave of deathcore bands, because they just do whatever the fuck they want, don't they? They've done everything from R&B, metalcore, deathcore, progressive rock. They're such a strange band, and every album they just keep getting bigger and bigger. They're probably the best example of that. If you said, listen to this band, Bring Me the Horizon, if we said to Andy, listen to this band, and showed them the first album, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is extreme, it's quite good. You show them the last 3 albums, you're like, what's this shit? This wouldn't recognize it's the same band.
It's interesting how that happens. So anyway, that is Noxa and Greed. Now, if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.